If you enjoy my style of drawing, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to show you how to draw like me. Specifically, I'm going to show you how to draw this tractor right here. And this, believe it or not, is going to be a quick and easy, somewhat beginner method. Doing this style of art might seem overwhelming at first, but we're going to start out with this basic scribble here, and I'll show you what it's for in a minute. We'll get back to this. Let's step backwards for a minute. The first thing you got to do is pick a good reference photo. I'm picking this tractor right here. I took this picture at the Sarpy County Fair in Springfield, Nebraska. To make it easier on ourselves, we're going to print out a black and white version of this. You can print a color one if that's all you got, if you don't know how to print black and white, but it's going to make things a little bit harder. Alright, back to this scribbling here for a minute. Now obviously this has been sped up because it's boring to watch somebody scribble with charcoal all day. So what we have here is the back of that black and white photo that we just printed out, and I'm just coloring with a 6B charcoal pencil, just anywhere that tractor is on the front side. You can kind of look through and see it. Now we're going to transfer the image over. This is a very much a beginner method. If you can do an outline of the tractor, you can skip over this part. But sometimes if I want like hyper-realism, or if I just getting real lazy and want to do a lot of drawings in a quick time, this is the best way to do that. Some people say, well, that's tracing and that's cheating, and honestly, I don't care. Your art is your art. Don't care if anybody else thinks of it. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they're not going to like it. Now, I use this toned gray paper. I like this paper. It makes the whites really pop, and it makes the darks really pop, and I really like it. You don't have to use that. You can use plain white printer paper, whatever you want. You kind of want something with a little bit of a tooth to it. You know, like if you look at it, it's got a little bit of a texture to it. It just makes things a little bit easier. I'm taping it down to a solid work surface. Now I use a drawing board. You can tape it to a desk, however you want. And you're going to take that picture that we just colored. Now it's got the charcoal in the back that we just scribbled all over it. And we're going to center it where you want it to be. Now wherever that tractor is where it's going to show up on your drawing. We're just going to tape it down. Standard artist tape is what I'm using here. I like to use the Blick brand because it's cheap and it works really good. Long story short, you just want a tape that's going to stick really well, but also release when you want. You're not going to pull the front of your paper off when you do it. I'm going to keep it kind of loose here in the front because we're going to be lifting it up and down so we can see what we've got underneath. You see, just showing you here, you can lift it up once you got it there. You can look at what's underneath, and then you go. All right, you want to smooth it back down, being careful not to run your hands across the charcoal. I'm using a 2H pencil to do my transfer. I like to use something in the H range, 2H, 4H, something like that. But if you got a lead pencil, you got a pen, you got a sharp stick, you can pretty much use anything you want to do this. We're just something that's pointy. You want it really sharp. And I'm just doing an outline. Now I'm drawing over top of the photo that's here, you see, and we're just going on the outline. For now, I'm just on the outline. Once we're done with the outline, we'll move on into the center, and I'm going to speed this up here in a minute so that we can get through this without boring you to death, because it's not very fun to watch this outlining process, but it is critical. So this is what we got. Now, pretty much everything I'm talking about today, I'm going to refer to tractors, but you can draw trucks, cars, barns, pretty much anything with this method if you want to. And I've drawn all types of stuff. I've drawn all those things I've mentioned. I like to draw tractors because that's what I relate to the most. But if you wanted to draw a spaceship, you could do the same thing with this. Just on the outline, nice and sharp pencil. Keeping your pencil sharp as you go. That'll keep your outline lines really thin. Now we're going to lift up. You see that? There it is. It's transferred over. Now you could stop here and you could just draw everything in the center if you want. And sometimes that's what I do if I want to just get the basic shape. But we're going to keep going. This is the complete beginner method. Now I'm tracing pretty much anything that's a different tone. If it's a white line, I'm going to outline it. If it's gray, I'm going to outline it. If it's black, I'm going to outline it. And we're just doing basic shapes. That's all we're doing. And this is just kind of a tool to help us get where the shapes are and what we're doing. Now, I'm doing this as a very quick drawing. This whole drawing took maybe an hour and 15 minutes. At this point here, we're maybe 15 minutes into the drawing. It's hard to tell because I've sped it up. My typical drawings take anywhere from 2 to 12 hours, depending on how much detail I want to get. And as I go, I'm just lifting it up, making sure I put it back down right where it was, and I can see what I've missed. I'm just getting all the details in there, you see, as we go. Now obviously as you get better with drawing, you're going to be able to either use a grid to transfer things over, you're just going to be able to look at it and draw them. And don't let anybody tell you that this is wrong. This is a good outline. That's my finger. I'm not really sure why I showed that to you, but we're just going to start with this outline right here. It's rough, it's ugly, and that's what we're going for on this drawing. It was quick, it was easy. I did this on a TikTok live just so that everybody could see it. I like to cover up what I'm not working on. One thing, it keeps it from smudging, but the other thing that's more important to me is I can focus on one small area. Now, I kind of screwed up when I was videoing this, and I did the tire without recording it somehow. Some idiot bumped my play button or record button and shut it off right as I was about to start. So, anyway, the tire's the same method as everything else. My method, I like to take and do the lightest spots first, followed by the darkest spots. Now, that's not to say you can't do darkest to lightest. A lot of people will start with the dark on the entire drawing and then move down. For me, I take one section, the seat. Right now, we're working on the seat. And we'll just move through that section. I'll take the darkest spot of the seat. I'll take the lightest spot of the seat. And then whatever's in the middle, I'll mix the black and I'll mix the white. Now I'm using, I believe, a 4B charcoal pencil here. And I'm using a pastel white charcoal chalk. It's a General brand pencil. These things work great. I love these. And this that I'm using right now is a blending stump. And that's just to smudge things out. So you're going to just color in the basic shape of each thing. I work one section at a time. You get the basic shape of the dark, you fill in the light, and then from then on, you blend it together. Now you're going to come back later and add some details. This particular drawing, I didn't want to do too many details. It was not hyper-realistic. If you're doing hyper-realistic, you're going to come back and you're going to add a lot of details, and you're going to take your time doing all this. This, I'm just flying through. Now, I'm not actually moving this fast. Once again, it's sped up. I really like to do steering wheels. Pay attention to your light sources. You're going to find on the tires, you're using a lot more white than you thought. You're thinking it's a black tire. Why would I use that? On the steering wheel, that's a black steering wheel. Why would I use white? But look at the very top of that steering wheel. That's right. It's bright white. It's right up there against it. Now, going down the hood, we've got these highlights here. I'm just doing black, doing white, and then I'm blending together. Top of the hood, there's a lot of white on it. You wouldn't think there's white on there, but look at a drawing. Just look at the actual tones you're seeing. The best advice I was ever given on drawing is draw what you actually see. Don't draw what you think you see. If you were drawing that steering wheel right there, you might think, oh, it's going to be a circle. It's going to have some lines going out it, and it's just going to be a black circle. But if you look closely, on a reference drawing, there's a white highlight on there that you got to catch, and it's there. Going through this grill, this is one of the worst parts. This took forever, even on a slow drawing, but it turns out really good. You just do the black, you put your white light source in, you shade around it, and then you just shade across using your blending stump, just running the shape of the contour so that you're just going a little bit of a curve across the front. For our axles, we're going to go straight across the front. With the tires, we're going to kind of do the same, following the curve of the tire. There's not much to this. I think pretty much anybody can do this. Now, obviously, this was a quick overview. It was really just intended to give you the basics of how I work. Now, look in there, there's not a lot of details. It looks like there might be details, but they're really not there. So if you enjoyed this and you want to learn more, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to do more, and we're going to focus on videos on tires and on wheels and shading and blending stuff and the tools we use and all this other stuff. There's a lot to learn. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, as the YouTubers say. And y'all, that's all I got. Be good.